आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, we asked the government to clarify its position vis-a-vis Turkey. It's allowing Turkish planes and Turkish pilots and Turkish crew to fly between Indian cities. Has the government forgotten its Operation Sindoor promise? At 8:30 p.m. tonight, why the government has messed up completely in the case of Christian Michel. They promised to break open the truth in the Augusta case, but its agencies seem to have no answer about what's going on. And at 9 o'clock tonight, as the campaign to save the Aravalis becomes stronger and stronger, I'll tell you why the so-called defense of the Union Environment Minister Bhupender Yadav was completely flat and totally unconvincing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask the government whether the government itself is sure of its policy vis-a-vis Turkey. What's going on? What is the central government doing? And let me start with a fact. Last night, a flight took off from Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar airport and came in to the New Delhi airport. Don't be shocked, ladies and gentlemen. That flight was a Turkish plane with a Turkish Airways pilot, the airline Corendon or something like that. It's a domestic Turkish airline. The crew were from the Turkish airline. A few understood English, most of them did not understand any Indian language. And they were flying between Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar and Delhi. So on the one side, the government told us post-Operation Sindoor that we take very, very seriously the role of Turkey in arming and supporting Pakistan. And Turkey has taken an anti-Pakistan position. And Turkey is targeting the Indian armed forces. We had very senior Lieutenant General level officers of the Indian Army who went on stage and said this time we were not fighting Pakistan. We were fighting Pakistan plus Turkey plus China. Now, I want to know why the government has forgotten its own promises given to the people of India post-Operation Sindoor. Ladies and gentlemen, you know and I know the position taken by Turkey during Operation Sindoor. Will we ever forget what happened during Pahalgam and what happened after that? When post-Pahalgam, during Operation Sindoor, in the intervening nights of the 6th of May and the 10th of May, Turkey stood firmly with the Pakistanis. We remember the promises at that point of time. And we were told that on the 15th of May, the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, after a massive media pressure and public pressure, issued an official notification revoking the security clearance of Celebi Airport Services India Limited. Following the revocation, the Delhi International Airport Limited announced the termination of its association with Celebi entities. Why? Because this is a Turkish-owned company. But then why is it, ladies and gentlemen, that in December, just 6 months later, the government has allowed the Turkish Airlines to come in with Turkish pilots and Turkish air crew? This is bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. Bizarre. In May 2025, we are told one thing. By December, the government does a complete U-turn. And now the government of India is allowing SpiceJet and IndiGo to fly Turkish planes, and in some cases, Turkish pilots and Turkish air crew between Indian cities. What is the helplessness of the government? What is the compulsion of the Civil Aviation Minister and the DGCA? The nation has a right to know. We are not being told, ladies and gentlemen. I want to share some facts with you. IndiGo was granted a one-time last and final extension of 3 months, we were told, in May till August 2025, and we're told to make some alternative arrangements to make sure there's no Turkish dependency. The language used by both the regulator and the airline was explicit. This was supposed to be the last extension. But then quietly the government gave another extension in August 2025 for 6 more months. Just before the lease was due to expire, IndiGo applies for another extension. The government happily gives IndiGo another 6 months extension on the Turkish issue. Which means tonight, Turkish Airlines aircraft and crew are and will continue operating in Indian airspace. And you all know the position Turkey took during Operation Sindoor. This India-Turkey aviation link, in my view, is completely avoidable. Let the government of India and the DGCA not tell me that this is this justification, that justification. My question to the government of India is this. Why are you allowing Turkish private airlines with Turkish ownership, Turkish pilots and Turkish air crew to fly between Indian cities? And why have you given this extension specifically in the case of IndiGo? And I'm told SpiceJet. Why this U-turn? Has the government of India done such a U-turn in any other critical sectors? And if not, then why only aviation? Or has some U-turn been done in other sectors as well? Ladies and gentlemen, we will never have a strong strategic policy unless we learn to be resolute. The definition of a hard state that defends national interest is that national interest is not something that is dormant to be used on occasion as an argument and shelved aside on another occasion as an unnecessary adornment. I do not believe in such definitions of national security. I ask you, will Turkey allow Air India to fly between 2 Turkish cities, Ankara and Istanbul? Why do we allow? Why do we allow Turkish planes to fly between Chennai and Delhi and God knows where else? Pakistan has used, and I want to remind the government of India, Pakistan has used Turkish supplied drones to attack our armed forces. Why are we giving Turkish Airlines a free run and a red carpet welcome on our soil when we told the people of India that in May this year that we would not allow it? Turkey is the biggest arms supplier to Pakistan. Turkey is strategically aligned against India. Turkey has taken an anti-India position in the case of Kashmir. Turkey says we are brothers with Pakistan. We will stand by Pakistan. It flew Turkish Air Force planes just before and during Operation Sindoor into Islamabad, into Rawalpindi. What is the reason we have given such a long rope to Turkey in terms of aviation? Now, viewers, whatever the government says, I just want to say one thing to the government. Don't use the argument that you're doing this for the people of India. The people of India, if required, will suffer the hardship of not having 2 planes between 3 sectors if necessary, but the people of India will not forgive at all the backdoor entry of Turkey into India's aviation sector. Secondly, are you going to reopen your links in other sectors as well? Are you going to allow ground handling as well? Why are these exemptions being given? And how do the people of India read these exceptions? They are going to question the necessity of these exceptions. But more than anything else, they're going to ask one simple question. You promised one thing, but you did another. That is not done. Just not done. Let's debate.
7 months after Operation Sindoor, the Indian government seems to have forgotten its promise not to tolerate India's adversaries. These are the pictures from Jabalpur and Chennai airport. The airline is Condemning Airlines, a Turkish carrier operating on the Indian soil. Indian Airlines, IndiGo and SpiceJet use their planes with their crew. These are some of the videos posted by passengers on board Condemning operating across different routes in India.
Many within the aviation sector are now raising questions about the national security aspect itself, that you have Turkish crew members carrying out the operations. You have an aircraft which is also operated by Turkish Airlines, and not to forget the role that Turkey has essentially played during Operation Sindoor by backing Pakistan.
It was Turkey which supplied hundreds of drones to Pakistan to be used against Indian forces. Drones and manpower were shared. But instead of banning anything Turkish, in a surprising reversal, the DGCA has granted fresh extensions for IndiGo and SpiceJet to continue using Turkish-registered aircraft and even Turkish crews. This comes despite initial pledges to phase out such arrangements amid national security concerns post-Operation Sindoor. Here's a reminder of what the minister said back then.
व्यापारी हो, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट हो, सभी ने अभी ये निर्णय लिया कि तुर्की की कोई भी चीज, कोई भी सेवा हमें नहीं चाहिए। हम आत्मनिर्भर हैं, हमें हमारी व्यवस्था हम खुद करेंगे। लेकिन इसी को मद्देनजर रखते हुए ये भी सेवा जो है बहुत सारे एयरपोर्ट पे चल रही थी, हमारी मिनिस्ट्री की ओर से हमने वो बैन कर दिया, उसको कैंसिल कर दिया।
3 times now, the DGCA has bent the rules for IndiGo's deal with Turkish Airlines. SpiceJet joined the fray, flying 5 planes from Koridon, a Turkish entity. DGCA's extensions to IndiGo and SpiceJet for Turkish planes are a slap in the face to those who hoped that Turkey, like Pakistan, would be taught a lesson.
That the government is not going to allow Turkey in the aviation sector. We are keeping a arm's length distance. But Raman, now the government has done a U-turn here as well. Professor Mahesh Verma is a political analyst pro-BJP. Raman is also pro-BJP. General G.D. Bakshi is with us. Abbas Haider of the Samajwadi Party is with us. Most people are totally shocked that Turkey has made an entry that between Indian cities people are flying Turkish planes, Turkish air hostesses, Turkish pilots, Turkish crew. It's bizarre. It's as if the government owes no answers to the people or to our armed forces. Why, Raman? Why is this?
I think Arnab, the basic issue is that the issue was raised properly, and due to the aviation sector's integrities, which have been causing a lot of problems for the passengers, a deadline was extended from August to February 2026. I believe that the deadline would be adhered to very stringently. At the same time, I also feel that this
to fly in India, simple. The people are going to ask the government. General Bakshi, 1 minute. Don't give me a technical reply. People are very impatient now. What is the government doing? You said that Turkey will stop, but when there's public pressure, you said we are not going to allow Turkish planes to fly. Why are Indian passengers being forced to fly? They buy IndiGo tickets, they fly Turkish planes with Turkish pilots and Turkish air crew. Turkish air crew also. I mean, General Bakshi, this is a complete abandonment of what was promised. This is an abandonment of what the government promised. Complete and total abandonment.
Must look into it and abolish this thing. This is not tolerable.
Excuse me. Arnab, Turkey went to the extent of waging war against India. Let me be so blunt in simple terms. They sent in hundreds of drones just before the commencement of Sindoor. Before that, Arnab, may I remind people that Turkey had promised to send 3,000 fighters, Arab fighters, into Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, to help Pakistan create chaos and mayhem there. During Op Sindoor, apart from supplying the Turkish drones, the Bayraktars, the Baykar Shibas, you see, they also sent in their operators.
Yeah.
Some of them were killed in the Murid Air Base in Pakistan. They were taking part in the operations, flying combat sorties against Indian targets. If that is not war, Arnab, what else is?
And this is, I don't think...
2 of their mobile command posts were located at Noor Khan.
The problem is that,
While
General Bakshi, the
command
government seems to have
posts which were
completely
being
forgotten what it
destroyed
promised.
by
The government
our
seems to
Brahmos
have completely
missiles.
and totally forgotten what it has promised to the people of India. And the feeling I get is, Professor Mahesh Verma, the government does not even feel answerable for this. The feeling is we are the government. Yes, we promised after Operation Sindoor, people were angry. We changed our position. And now you can do nothing about it. It's like a challenge to the people of India, Professor Mahesh Gupta, that we will allow Turkish Airlines to fly Indian passengers against their will. Because I don't think these passengers are buying Turkish planes tickets. They are buying it on IndiGo and SpiceJet. And then they are being forced, they get in, and they get on a Turkish plane with a Turkish pilot and Turkish aircrew.
Arnab, can I speak in Hindi also?
You can speak in any language you wish, sir. Ratnakar Tripathi also.
Thank you very much, brother.
जी.
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो ये जो सरकार है, ये उस तरह के कोई काम नहीं कर रही है जो पहले सरकार किया करती थी। याद करिए कि 2008 में 26/11 का हमला होता है और 2010 में 112 करोड़ की मदद पाकिस्तान को पहुंचाई जाती है।
मैं 2025 की बात कर रहा हूं।
अब 2025 जो तुर्की की आप बात कर रहे हैं, उस तुर्की को आज कितना बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है, किस प्रकार के नुकसान को वो झेल रहा है, ये अंदाजा नहीं होगा।
नहीं, आपने टर्किश एयरलाइंस क्यों इधर थोप दिए?
टर्किश एयरलाइंस के लिए जो ट्रीटी थी, जो चीज थी, उसको हमने लिमिट किया है।
कहाँ लिमिट किया है?
सर 26 फ्लाइट जो है, 26 फ्लाइट जो है, हम सिर्फ अलाउ कर रहे हैं।
26 फ्लाइट अलाउ कर रहे हैं। मेरी बात सुनिए, आपने ग्राउंड हैंडलिंग, आपने कहा कि ग्राउंड हैंडलिंग के लिए हम टर्किश कंपनी अलाउ नहीं करेंगे, मगर इन द एयर अलाउ करेंगे, तो ये तो कोई लॉजिक ही नहीं बनती है।
सर उसके ऊपर भी जो है 26 फरवरी 2026 तक हमने टाइम दिया है, क्योंकि लोगों को कहीं
नहीं, ये तो आपने किसी के कमर्शियल स्वार्थ के लिए किया है। वाई सरकार को, आई वांट टू नो, ये इंडिगो एयरलाइंस के साथ इतना प्यार क्यों है सरकार को? हर चीज में आप इंडिगो एयरलाइंस को स्पेशली हेल्प कर रहे हैं।
मोर देन 2900 करोड़ का जो नुकसान आज तक तुर्की उठा चुका है हमारे टूरिज्म,
उसके लिए यू आर मेकिंग रेपरेशंस, आप उसके लिए कॉम्पेंसेट कर रहे हैं उनको।
कई तरह के हमने सैंक्शन इम्पोज
नहीं, मगर आपने तुर्की को फ्री रन क्यों दी है? नहीं, रत्नाकर त्रिपाठी, द स्टोरी इज गेनिंग मोमेंटम। इसमें मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज पीपल ऑफ इंडिया डोंट नो दैट इन इंडिया टुडे द गवर्नमेंट हैज अलाउड टर्किश प्लेन्स टू फ्लाई बिटवीन इंडियन सिटीज, और हमें कहा जा रहा है हमको इंडिगो को हेल्प करना है। इंडिगो को क्यों हेल्प करना है? Why is IndiGo being allowed to have a commercial arrangement forcing Indian passengers to fly Turkish planes? उनके प्लेन नहीं है तो नहीं चला है। कल आप बोलेंगे पाकिस्तानी प्लेन्स ले आइए, कल आप बोलेंगे कि पाकिस्तान से प्लेन्स ले आइए, हमने पाकिस्तान को भी नुकसान करवाया। ये क्यों हो रहा है? Why is the government allowing this? Ratnakar Tripathi is on the debate. Ratnakar Tripathi.
See, this is a breach of trust. The contract Ratnakar Tripathi with IndiGo Airlines, Corendon Airlines. But when I go there, I have to sit in Corendon Airlines. I may like, may not. I don't care. I had been there. Just last month I was there. It was a Corendon Airlines. Campus or something like that. Right? महेश गुप्ता जी, मैं हिंदी में बता दे रहा हूँ प्रोफेसर साहब। हाँ, हम लोगों को किया, वो आपने नहीं किया। 2 जनवरी 2007 पठानकोट पे हमला होता है एयरबेस, और आप 27 से 2 अप्रैल तक भारत पाकिस्तान के ISI की मेजर को पाकिस्तानी सेनाओं को पठानकोट एयरबेस का मुआयना करने का मौका देता है। और ये तय करने का मौका देता है कि हमने क्या नहीं की, और जो कहा नहीं किया। पठानकोट एयरबेस को आपने पाकिस्तानियों से इंक्वायरी करवाई, शर्म है आपके ऊपर। एंड वन मोर थिंग, डॉक्टर गोस्वामी, विद ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, व्हाई डोंट यू आस्क द गवर्नमेंट, why didn't they inquire the role of the LAB of Corendon, whatever it is? In the event incident of IndiGo holding the sky of India to ransom for 3 days. Why is this being inquired?
No, I have got some information now. I want to share with you. See, by the way, you keep saying, why don't you ask the government? Why don't you ask the government? Today, there is only one network which is asking government, asking opposition, asking everyone. I ask the government all the time. Now, my question is this, please. My question is this. Please hear me, Ratnakar Tripathi. No, Mr. Tripathi, I have some very worrying information. And I am quite sure that this information, the government will act on it and stop this. Because the Civil Aviation Ministry can't be allowed to get away with this. In the last 48 hours, ladies and gentlemen, watching the program, Abbas is on the debate, have 4 windows. 58 flights have been there by Turkish planes in Indian soil. The central government has allowed 58 flights by Turkish planes on Indian soil. With whose permission? I say, with whose permission? Open the lines tonight. With whose permission?
Very shameful.
No, how is this being allowed? And how much will be hidden? The thing is, you have Turkish President Erdogan, who's an enemy of India. He is with Pakistan. Tomorrow you'll say, let us be very general about it. Aviation sector, let's get Bangladesh Biman and Pakistan Airways also into India. You are looking here and there, Ratnakar Tripathi ji. You know today the people are angry, and if I open the phone lines, you will see how angry people are. I do not think any Indian passenger will buy a Turkish or Corendon Airways ticket. You buy an IndiGo ticket, you are put into a Turkish plane with Turkish air hostesses and Turkish pilot and Turkish plane. Is that not a security threat? Abbas is there, he is the spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Abbas.
Arnab, I thank you for taking this very serious issue which concerns every citizen of this country. I totally agree with you, not just me, all the people from opposition, even the treasury side, they all agree with you what we are saying. And the 140 crore people of this country, they agree with you. See, nothing is more important than national security of our country. We should have an unswerving stand when national security is concerned, Arnab. Arnab, 23% trade import between Russia, Turkey and India has declined. And this is a voluntarily effort of traders of this country. They have sacrificed their trade for national security. And look what our government is doing. Look, people who have no spine to show, to take a stand. We should take a stand. There is no question of if and but when national security is concerned. When Turkey was helping Pakistan, it was supplying military support, it was supplying drones to Pakistan. It is an enemy of our country, and no trade should be done between Turkey and India. There is no official ban between trade between India and Turkey as of now. So Arnab, there is no question. The most important.
Abbas, more reason why. More reason why. You say to the traders, the government says to the traders, support us, fight for national security, boycott Turkey, and the traders boycotted Turkey. We ran a boycott Turkey campaign. But most importantly, Raman Malik and Mahesh Verma, I want to remind you today, General Bakshi is also on. When there were reports that there was a Congress party had an office in Turkey, Republic raised the question and BJP had a press conference on it. Good, very good. You raised question, does the Congress party need to have an office in Turkey? On the one hand, Raman, you do all this. Can you please explain to the people of India, Mahesh and Raman, what is the BJP doing? You are saying traders don't trade with Turkey?
They can.
No, you are saying your army is saying Turkey is attacking us, killing our people, and then you are allowing a Turkish private airline to make money by forcibly flying Indian passengers? 58 flights if in 2 days.
Looked into. I firmly say that this has to be looked into. But
no, what do you mean looked into? I'll open the phone lines. Can you open the... No, looked into means what? General Bakshi, looked into. Now you will say looked into because Republic is picking it up. Aravali, you will say looked into because Republic is picking it up.
Arnab, bhajiya ka thela nahi lena hai. Aircraft lena hai.
What do you mean bhajiya ka thela? Stop using this kind of superficial language.
Dry lease is not an easy job.
70%. वो भजिया ले रहे हैं क्या? That trade is not important to our country.
The sacrifices of our soldiers in Operation Sindoor do not matter to you.
It is a job of IndiGo and spies.
What the soldiers have not in Operation Sindoor. You are betraying the soldiers. You are betraying the common citizen of this country, sir.
Nobody is
taken 31 crore in electoral bonds. They can get away with anything.
करना चाहिए।
This is going to happen.
ये
What they can do, they can arm twist the government and get away with
अरे
anything.
आपकी अपनी जमात आपका जान खा लेगी, आप बोले ये तो सही तुर्की का केस,
सर मैं ये
तुर्की का केस बोलिए,
देश में आप
पता लगेगा आपकी जमात आपको पूछ लेगी और जान खा लेगी।
तुर्की बंद करिए, क्या तुर्की का है?
Abbas,
नए extension दे रहे हैं, you're giving multiple extension despite saying that this there is, see, even DGCA said that there was safety violation by Turkish Airlines. Even acknowledging safety violation, they have given multiple extensions to Turkish Airlines. This is what the BJP government is doing.
Raman, the Mumbai High Court gave clearances, gave support to these contracts. Have you forgotten that?
What have you forgotten?
अरे जब सिलेबसी का कैंसिल कर रहे थे तो कोर्ट्स केम इन सपोर्ट ऑफ देम।
No, but why are you? I want to understand the compulsion. General Bakshi, we are opening calls. Please open the lines. I'll take hot calls tonight. My point tonight is simple. Please, once. I want to remind the government of India. Dr. Mahesh, about the sacrifices and valor of the Indian Armed Forces during Operation Sindoor.
Those six are propagating.
आज इनकी नैतिकता कहाँ चली गई? आज ये
आवाज नहीं आ रही।
नेता पार्लियामेंट में उसी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को लेकर कितना बड़ा बकवास कर गया, कितनी बड़ी बदतमीजी कर गया, कितना बड़ा देश के खिलाफ बोल गया। और ये कांग्रेस के लोग
ये बताइए डॉक्टर महेश, वन में डॉक्टर महेश एकमात्र क्वेश्चन, केंद्र बिंदु, सेंट्रल पॉइंट। आई एम नॉट मूविंग फ्रॉम दैट। I am not moving from that. I am on Abbas. I just want to know, General Bakshi.
These political lines, sir. We are talking as citizen of India, not as a political people, sir.
Abbas,
ये national security का issue है. Can't you take it seriously?
आप सिटीजन की हैसियत से नहीं आए हैं।
भाई अभी टीएल का आपका आर्म ट्विस्टिंग करी इंडिगो ने, चलिए कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन यहाँ पे भी होगा क्या? टर्किश हमारे एयर स्पेस में टर्किश एयरक्राफ्ट घूमेंगे, हमारे हो सकता है हमारी कंट्री में। डू यू टेक इट इजीली? हल्के में ले रहे हैं आप इस बात को?
अरे कौन हल्के में ले रहा है?
अगर हल्के में नहीं ले रहे तो आपने क्यों
हल्के में लिया? आप मानते हैं ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का,
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for their support to Republic on these issues. I call upon the government of India, General Bakshi, to immediately dissociate themselves from this Turkish airline and to not create a very, hurtful situation where IndiGo or SpiceJet are allowed to use not just Turkish planes, but Turkish pilots and Turkish crew. I call upon passengers, I call upon my fellow citizens to build adequate pressure on issues like this, that this sense of growing unilateralism, the feeling that we can do anything and explain it away, independently or in conjunction with courts or with other associations, it cannot be allowed. This is a sensitive issue. General Bakshi, the picture I have is of Zakir Naik with Erdogan. And I say this is a betrayal to the people of India that Turkish planes are flying all over India unchecked. Unchecked.
Arnab, may I point out in all humility that one of the best means of espionage are the crew and the members of the Turkish Airlines.
Absolutely true.
They fly into our airports, many of which are dual airports. They are Air Force bases as also civil aviation centers. Every time you fly into such an airport, you are asked to keep your window shades up. And a whole lot of other precautions were taken to see that you don't get a peek into our airspace, into our air activities at our air bases. You allow the Turkish Airlines to operate here. It is a kul simsim for espionage during hot operations. Are you out of your mind? Here is a country whose people not only gave drones to Pakistan, they flew those drones. Some of them were killed during Operation Sindoor. That is a hostile act. It's an act of war. They have been misbehaving with our Navy in the Mediterranean. When we had gone to exercise with Cyprus and Greece. Any chance they get to misbehave with our country, with our armed forces, they have been doing it.
The point on security clearance is very important. And
there no other
General Bakshi, that picture out there,
the world.
I would say this, what General Bakshi is saying is so clear, that visual is of Munir, Shehbaz and Erdogan. As you watch this picture, please remember, Pakistan will use every possible way, especially its all-weather friend Turkey, to breach into Indian security. Pressure from you and me stopped the government, made the government take Celebi off. It was not on its own, it was because of public pressure. Today I call upon the people of India to build the public pressure so that these Turkish planes don't fly all over the country with Turkish crew. Imagine there are hundreds of Turkish people who have entered India via these planes. And nobody can take a guarantee for them. For a representative sample of public mood, Mahesh from Mumbai. Mahesh, briefly please. Mahesh.
I think it's pleasure talking to you, Arnab.
Thank you.
In the language of Ramanji and Mahesh Verma, भजिए की दुकान तो DGCA और एवियन मिनिस्ट्री ने खोल के रखी हुई है। पहले तो उन्होंने इंडिगो के केस में भजिए की दुकान से भजिए बेचे कस्टमर्स को, इंडियन ने इसका इंडिगो का तो कुछ उखाड़ नहीं सके। अब तुर्किश एयरलाइन को बेच रहे हैं भजिए, और घोड़े लग रहे हैं कस्टमर्स के, इनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा। आई थिंक मोदी जी कहीं सुन रहे होंगे तो इनको ध्यान देना चाहिए, कुछ तो समझना चाहिए।
आई एम श्योर, I am sure.
इतनी बेशर्मी नहीं करनी चाहिए।
No, I am sure. This is a very serious issue. I would like to just go across to Satya from Mumbai. Satya.
I just want to send this message to the government through your panelists over here representing BJP that just this week Pakistan has been gifted a warship by Turkey.
Yes.
Forget the drones of Operation Sindoor. And here, it's been really shameful about IndiGo and the government that they are allowing the airplanes of Turkey and their crew to be on our soil and air.
Yeah.
Okay, just this week they have gifted the warship to Pakistan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And these things are not... You see, I love the fact now. Are you seeing how well-informed all of you are seeing our viewers are? Will they not ask questions? Dilip from Bengaluru. Hi, Dilip.
Hi. Arnab, actually, my view is that how can government allow this? It's a huge espionage issue.
Yes.
What if the Turkish Airlines hires Pakistani crew, Pakistani pilots, so they come and land in India, stay in India? So isn't it a huge risk? How is this being allowed? It's kind of surprising. It's atrocious.
It truly is. Well, I'll thank my panelists at this point. I request the government to rethink what's happening. I request the Civil Aviation Minister to understand that there is no backroom deal, everything is in the open. And it's not about a commercial situation. This is about national interest. The government has to act in this case to preserve national interest.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।